Now that we have the top 10 diagnosis data, let's see how we can visualize the same. Before visualizing it, we'll also further summarize this data based on sex. So if you look at it, sex or gender, if you look at it, this data only contains diagnosis being reported for how many times, but it does not give us the gender split. So what we'll do is we will take up this data, the top 10 data, and further use the data that we fetch from the database to join the data from the database with this top 10 to only get the top 10 diagnosis, and then summarize this data across males and females, and then arrange it based on the count. So if we were to execute this query, we can look at how does this data look like, which gives us that for every diagnosis in top 10, and there are two sex, which is male and female, so we have 20 observations or 20 records. For each one, it gives us a split of how many female patients have been reported with this diagnosis versus how many male. So once we have this data, we shall plot a bar chart to see how does this data look like in terms of visualization. So if we use the ggplot library which we discussed. So in ggplot library, the first argument is the data frame, and then we give the aesthetics part of it, wherein we give what is there on the x-axis, and we say that we want to order the x-axis based on the inverse order of the diagnosis count. So basically we want from high to low. So we could have just directly given x equal to diagnosis. In that case, there would not be an ascending or a descending order. So we gave a reorder so that the diagnosis get arranged based on high to low. And then further we added the geom bar that we want. This tells ggplot that we want to draw a bar chart, and we say that the weights or the y-axis would be the count that we have introduced based on the gender, and then we want to say that in each bar we also want a split across the gender, and then we decorate the ggplot to add the title and the x-axis label and the y-axis label. And since the diagnosis name can be a bit longer, we wanted to vertically show the x-axis text. So hence we have put the angle equal to 90, and then we draw the plot. So if we were to run this, this is how it looks like. So this is the vertical alignment, and then we can see that it is ordered from high to low because we used to reorder in the ggplot, and this gives us a split between male and female for each of this diagnosis. So having looked at the top 10 diagnoses, one of the other things that we want to look at is pick up the top diagnosis and see how does that look like in terms of what are the top regions from where they are reported, and how does the age distribution and the year-wise trend look like. We'll do that in the next part.